Good morning from Disturbia. It is the 17th of April, 2026. 1 and 7 is 8, and 4 is 12, plus 1 for 2026 is 13. So today we have Friday the 13th. You can see I've got precipitation on my windshield, but not on my window, which is very strange. Why should I have water on my windshield and not on my window? But nothing in Disturbia makes sense despite all the explanations that we're going to hear for it. Take a look at this sky. The sky is white and the clouds are blue. It's an inversion of reality. The more they spray, the warmer it gets. I just saw that they're putting fog in. They want heat today. I've noticed that's a pattern over the last, I don't know how many years, at least 10. I've been noticing these patterns that the forces will build up heat through this electric blanket that they're putting manually into the sky. Maybe not with hands, but fallen angels are delivering this shite into the sky, and they build the temperature, and then it will crash. And this week they've been building. Yesterday it was warmer than the day before, of course, because there was more shite in the sky. I don't know why people are not making this connection. They may be making the connection, but they're not saying anything. I've never heard anybody say it. The more shite they spray, the warmer it gets. Ostensibly because not even the ones doing chemtrails, see, take a look at the fog here. It's there, but it's not here, you see. It's spreading like a disease over the whole flat earth. Back here you've got the pink and the blue. This will all turn probably into a thick white shield. Look at this shite here just hanging. What is it? It's not a cloud. It's just fragments. But, you know, in this day and age, a lot of people have grown up with this. And they don't think that there's anything wrong with it. They think it's normal because that's what they're used to. Here you can see fog also, this white dangling there. We've got some kind of an electric power station here. It's not power, folks, it's force. Even the language that we use nowadays is very deceptive. Take a look at the blue and the pink here, the AC/DC. We're under a force field. People call it good weather. A lot of people by and large have no idea what is being done to them. Nor do they really care as long as they have their Krispy Kreme, just like Pavlov's dog that's chained up. Just ring the bell. You don't even have to serve anything. Just ring that bell and that dog will start salivating. That's how we've been trained up, people. You better realize it. Because the man of sin is coming. I do not know when. Do not ask me. I do not know. But we do know from the Bible that God said in 70 years he would destroy Babylon. And Mystery of Babylon has been in existence going on 76 years. In Genesis 48:19, take a look here, more fog. Why, people? Why? There is no reason for fog. Some days we have fog, some days we don't. There's no rhyme or reason to it. This is not science. This is magic, people. In Genesis 48:19, talks about Israel. This is what AI gave me recently as an example for the foundation of Israel as a nation. But guess what? Genesis 48:19, turn it around, 1948. That is when counterfeit Israel was so-called founded. You can't found anything on a false rock because it's just sifting sand and it will collapse. But unfortunately, people are not taught the truth. We're told the Bible is a myth. If you have to believe anything, believe that Babylonian Talmud, believe the Quran. Why are they pushing Islam? Well, because it's Talmudic. In fact, so-called Christianity is Talmudic. It is the synagogue of Satan because they do not teach you the truth. They teach you that there is a, look at this grid here, how ribbed it is. It's just absolutely disgusting. You think that's normal? Come on, people, wake up. They teach people all about the rapture and about the 1,000-year reign. Even AI said there would be no 1,000-year reign on the earth. Maybe it just said that in agreement with me. You never know. You know, they'll tell you it's just a machine. No, it's not a machine. You've got fallen angels doing this work. It calls itself I. Makes value judgments. I mean, this delusion is so strong, and people believe whatever they're told, especially if it comes out of the radio or the television. That has become our God. It's our downfall, just like abortion is our downfall. The church never separated from the state. Abortion is the centerpiece of pagan religion. It is a sacrifice to Baal, just like Herod sacrificing all those baby boys when he found out that the real Messiah had manifested on the earth. No problem, he said, I'm just going to eradicate all these boys and I'll eradicate the Messiah. Well, God is smarter than you are. This is one thing that the forces that should not be will never concede. They do not learn from their mistakes. I've seen it with my own eyes, evil people that God has been judging and working with. They're not going to believe. They've sold their soul. There's no way out for them. They're never going to stop their treachery. Never. They're counting on the man of sin coming and saving them and letting them rule and reign. But the Bible says he will only rule and reign for 1 hour. 1 hour. It isn't very long. It certainly isn't 3.5 years. That's what AI tried to tell me. 3.5, you know, it'll always tell you the conventional story. And then when you question it and say, no, take a look at this or that verse, then it usually will concede. Of Satan will take place for 1 hour. That's why we know that the buildup is going to take longer, taking thousands of years, than the actual rule will last. I think it'll be something like 48 days. There are a couple numbers in Daniel toward the end, and if you subtract the lesser number from the higher number, you get, I think, 45, which of course 4 and 5 is 9, which is the number of completion. So it will be, but the question is always going to be, well, when does the day start? When does it start? You know, they'll talk about 3.5 years now and 3.5 years later. It gets people all confused. It makes absolutely no sense. But when these 40 days begin, there will be a signal. Probably it will be murder in the public square. We're being conditioned to seeing killing and brutality. We see it on TV all the time. But as soon as you see real brutality, they'll either cut it off, they won't show it. They don't want you to see what it's really like. They want you to have in your mind an impression of what they want you to believe it's like. That's the danger of television, because it's trying to merge make-believe with reality. And just like it says in the Bible, it will not cleave. You can't have both. You cannot mix it. God hates an admixture. And the cup of his wrath is full of admixture. It's all just dregs. And the whore of Babylon is going to have to drink that down to the very last drag drop. God's going to make them do it. Drink it. That's why it's no joke, folks. And, you know, I used to go on Quora quite a bit, but I stopped because it's always the same old stupid questions. It's all the same old smug, reprobate crap. You know? And now I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot what my point was about Quora, but they're always saying things about, you know, well, you know, if you're going to go to hell, then you're going to believe in God. And it's not about going to hell. It is about seeing the world and yourself as you are. So Jesus said, eyes to see, ears to hear. And there's so many people who will not see. I show them this shite in the sky, and they say, oh, that's just chemtrails. What? Chemtrails? Yeah, whoa, that's just, you know, steam. Steam? Hello? They know what the truth is, but they just don't want to believe it. Everyone knows what the truth is, but they will not believe it. That's what rebellion is. It's retaliation against the truth. It's resistance to the truth. And this resistance takes an awful, awful, awful lot of energy. And the house of cards is built upon stilts on shifting sand. I mean, how much energy does it take to keep that thing held up? Quite a bit. And they will fail. They will fail. Just because they're not failing, just because it's going to get really bad. But this is the test. This is the test. Can I stay on the narrow path and the narrow way, in spite of all the pressure to join the mainstream? 205 today. It's gone down 2 cents, but they'll raise it again. The prices, they raise the prices all day long. I guess they're only allowed to raise them till 12 o'clock now. Crazy. These people are just, you know, nuts. Them and all their fake laws. Now they're going to establish some laws about the prices of gas. Why don't they just lower the prices? Period. These prices aren't, you know, there's no sort of compulsion for prices to raise. Prices can't raise themselves. These are made by the governments that are mandating laws to keep them down. Why? Because people believe for some reason that, oh well, you know, there's a block in the Strait of Hormuz, so the prices go up. They put the prices up because they want to. I just got a letter from my, not a letter, of course, an email from my electric company that, oh, you know, this and that, the prices are going to go up. I remember when I used to pay 20 marks a month for electricity. And then at the end of the year, I always got money back because electricity then was considered a staple. You needed to live. Nowadays, it's, oh, you can't have that. We're not going to give that to you unless you got quite a bit of money. You know, it's just a fiasco. I remember at the beginning of Corona, they lowered the benzene, the gas prices to €1 for a liter. Why did they do that? Well, they can't keep too much pressure on all the time. They're telling you to stay home. People are losing their jobs. You have to wear a mask. You have to get a vaccination. Well, we'll just lower the price of gas. Back then, the Strait of Hormuz was nowhere in sight, but now that we don't even know what's happening over there. Just because you see pictures doesn't mean that it's the truth. But this is how we've been raised to believe. Everything on that TV is the gospel truth. Forget about God. We've got television. We've got radio. You know, this is something people don't think too much about. They don't want to think. It's just much easier just to kick back and eat, drink, and be merry and let them tell you what they want you to believe, and you just believe it, go along to get along. And then, but this is the whole question. What am I going to do? Am I going to adhere to the lie, or am I going to seek the truth and proclaim it? The more people who seek the truth, the less they can do to you, because the more people there will be to witness what they're doing. They work in darkness. They work in silence. There is no context to what they do. But the more people who see what they're doing can see through to the context and say, look, this is what happened. Just like with Mozart. For example, I've used him over the years a lot. And it just seems like, well, you know, he was sick from the time he was little and he died and he was a little... No, that's not true. It's a lie. Look into it. Delve into it. Dig deep and you'll find the truth. That's why the truth is called the pearl of great price in the Bible. Because it will take its toll on you. It will take its toll on you physically, emotionally. People will hate you. They will push you. You don't want to be on the mainstream? Okay, get out of our sight. We don't even want to see you. This is how it is for some people, and it's going to get worse for the rest who believe in the truth. But there are not enough people. Look at this crazy funnel. Good Lord. It's insane. We're just surrounded by insanity and nobody really sees it. Sure, they'll call it a dispersion, but then they'll say it's cold outside. It is not cold outside. If they didn't spray, it would probably be 0 degrees. If they didn't spray, we would have cold in summer. I remember back in around 2008, they were just really starting to get a handle on this chemtrail crap. Because Satan gives them the information. The more blood they shed, the more lies they tell, the more information he gives them. That's what it's about. This is all satanic. And 2018, what was that? That was actually the 70th year of Mystery of Babylon. Suddenly you had the glow-baal and all its gory glory. But in 2008, I remember going with my horse on a little vacation, and people were living in tents, and I had a tent. By golly, I had to move into a hotel because it was freezing at night. It was below freezing, and it was in August. You know, they talk about the ice age like it's a joke. They know darn well that if they stop spraying, it's going to get cold. We had some coldish times last winter. I mean, it's not even really winter anymore because now we've got 19 degrees and we had 17 in July. You know, as soon as they stop spraying, as soon as they stop jolting us with electricity, that's what it is. It works in tandem. The spraying and the microwaving. I mean, they can spray quite a bit, but if they don't microwave as much, you're not getting the temperature. You know? But all I'm trying to say is that they want everything to be one just melting pot. That's why they call it a melting pot, because everything's all mixed. There is no diversity. They talk about diversity all day long, but that's not really what they want. And they're always quoting Paul, there is no male or female. Why do you think they put that in the Bible? Good Lord. It's a big fat lie. Of course there's male and female. This defies reality. It defies logic. They'll tell you that believing in God is irrational. Not believing in God is irrational. Denying your own existence. It's annihilation is what it is. Satan talks these people into annihilating themselves through dissolution and through depravity. Just deprave yourself and you will perfect yourself in your sin. What? That's what they believe. That's probably maybe even what you believe if you're listening to this. I've noticed that wherever you get a true Christian, you get quite a few Satanists trying to debunk him or her. So anyway, the long and the short of it is this. God is the truth. God will bring wrath, is bringing wrath on the earth and judgment. You cannot issue it. You cannot escape it. You cannot kill God. Not with magnets, not with electricity. That's all their pipe dream. And it's time you woke up and face the music. It's a lonely dance, but it has to be done in order to achieve salvation for eternity. Amen.